This is the Arizona Wildcats Video Extra, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, joined by Bruce Pascoe. Bruce, it's a busy week for you. We've got the NBA draft coming up. We're going to spend this episode talking about the first of two draft-eligible Wildcats, Aaron Gordon. What have you heard about him, and where could he go in the draft, which starts here on Thursday?
You know, I think he's still going to go somewhere in the top 10, probably 5 to 10. His agent thinks 4 to 8. Mm-hmm. You know, there's projections as low as 12. That certainly seems to be his floor, and maybe now with the shakeup with Joel Embiid's injury, he could maybe reach as high as 3. That's got to be his definite ceiling there if somebody really wants to take a gamble on his upside. There's a lot of uncertainty because he is one of the youngest guys out there, and it's a question of how much team really buys into his upside.
Sure, there's a lot of promise there too. I mean, obviously, you look at his measurables; they're pretty good. His off-the-court stuff, not a lot has been made of kind of his character. But I know that you got to witness it firsthand this year. What kind of a personality will he bring to an NBA locker room?
Yeah, I think that's been big in these workouts. There's 2 things he's really done. One is, of course, trying to prove that he can shoot, but also his personality and work ethic, and those teams are getting to see that in the interviews and the way he is, and he carries himself extremely mature for an 18-year-old. I'm not sure I've ever seen an 18-year-old as composed and focused as he is. He's really something else like that. So they know there may be some question marks with what he can do as a shooter and his upside, but they know he's a high character guy. He's going to give him everything he can give him, and he's going to accept a role. He doesn't seem to be going in thinking they've got to run stuff for me, I'm going to be a star or whatever. He wants to go in and play a role and be a glue guy, and I think that appeals to a lot of teams.
Sure. This is the Arizona Wildcats Video Extra, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. Ryan Finley here with Bruce Pascoe. Bruce, what kind of franchise do you think is a good fit for Aaron Gordon?
You know, that's a tough question. I've been asked that a couple times, and I think actually, I know it sounds kind of general, but I really think he can fit in pretty much anywhere because of the kind of guy he is and because of the kind of game he has. He's willing to play any kind of role. He's probably better in a little more of an up-tempo style because of the way he can get out, and he's so athletic for his size. He can defend really well for his size again, and somebody could take use of him there. But you could put him into really any kind of little box you might have as a program or an organization, and I think he's going to help anybody.
Sure, Bruce, one more thing before you go. You're going to be heading to New York City for the draft. For somebody who hasn't been there before, what's that whole week, that whole experience like?
Well, it's interesting. For these guys, I really think it is kind of a highlight of a lifetime for them. They spend 2 days before the draft basically roaming around shoe stores, making appearances, going to clinics with kids. They're the toast of the town, and then they stay in a fancy Times Square hotel and living it up, and then they meet with us for about a couple hours the day before the draft, and there's a lot made out of that, and and then the day of the draft, it's a lot of anticipation, and I think everybody kind of finds that last day really hard because you're waiting all day till 7 o'clock, and everything's going to happen at 7. You find out where you're going to live and where you're going to be, and even then you might get traded. I mean, there's just so much anticipation and nerves that go into that final day that really make it something. And especially for the guys that are there in that green room, like Aaron will be, it's really something.
Awesome. Well, don't forget to follow Bruce Pascoe on Twitter, on StarNet, and in the Arizona Daily Star, because Bruce will be there, and Bruce will take you there. For Bruce Pascoe, I'm Ryan Finley. This is the Arizona Wildcats Video Extra, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. We'll see you next time when we talk about Nick Johnson.
Try this matchup. Low prices and faster checkout. You can count on it at Fry's.